Welcome to the session on form. We had talked about melody, harmony, and rhythm in the earlier videos. All these elements need to come together. We need something to stick all this together. This is where the form comes in. It's the larger image which houses these individual elements. We will start by taking a look at what a form really is. Then we will discuss the forms in the Indian classical world, both in Carnatic and Hindustani music. We will then move on to the form in Western music with a specific focus on the verse-chorus structure. Finally, we will take a look at how the form is used in Indian film music. Form basically defines the overall structure of the composition. As we said earlier, this is the larger picture which houses the individual elements. The form is broken down into smaller parts. We will talk about these individual parts or segments in the next few slides. To define the form, there is a well-defined labeling mechanism which has been created. This way it becomes easy to define them. We have the verse-chorus structure in Western music, the Pallavi, Anupallavi, Charanam structure in Carnatic music, and the Sthayi Antara format in Hindustani music. Basically, it's a question of how these individual parts are arranged and repeated in a specific way. The diagram shown here is a sample illustration of how a verse will be made up. This is part of the verse-chorus structure in Western music. The verse is basically made up of phrases, which again is made up of individual bars. You can imagine similar constructs for other sections of the song. Let us take a look at how a form is defined in Carnatic music. In Carnatic music, we can broadly define forms under two categories, the technical and the melodic. The technical form is something the students learn in the initial period of learning. It's a very progressive learning approach. Students start with a janta or dhatu exercises, which are to provide the dexterity in the instrument and develop expertise on the scale. In fact, some of these elements will come in handy during the creative process. They then move on to a form called alankara, where the notes are weaved into a set pattern. This is the first time the students get exposed to the 7 main talas. Then they move on to geetam, where lyrics come into play. Here the form does not have any individual parts, it is just one part. There is a one-to-one mapping of the notes to the lyrics. Then they move on to varnam. This is the main element of technical music. It is the only form in this category that is performed in concerts. Varnam has 5 parts: Pallavi, Anupallavi, Mutai Swaras, Charanam and Chitta Swaras. This is when the student gets exposed to the raga structure, thalam structure, and performing in different speeds. We then move on to the melodic structure. This is the portion which is performed largely in concerts. The melodic form gives the opportunity for creativity beyond performing the composed piece. The two main portions are the kriti and the kirtana. While the emphasis on the kirtana is more on the deity, the kriti focuses more on the melodic aspects of the raga. Both the forms have the Pallavi, Anupallavi and the Charanam parts. The Trinity composers, Tyagaraja, Dikshadhar, Shyama Sastri and others like Purandaradasa and Swadhitranan have composed great compositions in this form. We also have other forms like Padams, Javali, Tillana, which are mainly used in dance and are also sung in concerts. Finally, we have the form called as the Ragam Tanam Pallavi, which has of late become the core of any concert. It is a form that shows the entire gamut of the parts, which include creative singing, also called alapana, thanam, which emphasizes on rhythmic pulse, and the exposition of melodic line variations and creativity in the notes, also called as kalpana sura. One could ask, why should a film composer know all this? Film music has derived a lot of aspects from these forms, and composers have time and again fallen back on some of these compositions to build on their creativity. The Hindustani music also has a similar structure like the Carnatic music. The technical category comprises of the Varna, equivalent to the Varisais in Carnatic music, and the Alankara, which is the same as the Alankaram in Carnatic music. There is no equivalent to the Varnam in Hindustani music. One should not confuse the Varna and the Varnam between these two systems. The melodic form consists of 4 types: the Drupad, Khayal, Thumri, and the Ghazal. The Drupad is the oldest form with 4 sections: the Sthai, Antra, Sanchari, and Abogi. The form is more spiritual and uplifting. The Khayal is now the most popular form in Hindustani music. It is more free-flowing, relatively shorter, and has only 2 sections, the Sthai and Antara. Many of the film songs are based on this structure. The Thumri is connected more with the dance format. It also has 2 sections. We also have another form called as Tapa, which is set to fast note patterns. Ghazal is another form which has been used widely in film music. It is a poetic form which is based on couplets. Many of the Hindi songs are based on the concept of the prelude, mukda, interludes, and the antara format, where the mukda keeps repeating after the antara. We will now look at the Western way of looking at form. Like we had the 2 categories in Indian classical, we also have 2 categories in Western music, the sectional and the variational. The sectional form is built on the concept of sections, the number of sections and how they are repeated. The sections are labeled as A, B, C, etc. to indicate the differences in the sections. The sectional has 4 primary types. The stropic form, which only has 1 section and which keeps repeating. The binary form, which is the most popular, has 2 sections which can also get multiplied. The sections are contrasting. The ternary has 3 sections which can again get repeated. Finally, the rondo is a circular form where the theme is recurring. In the variational form, the sections are repeated with alterations in one of the dimensions, could be either the melody, rhythm, or harmony. Though there are many forms, there are only a few which are very popular in Western music. The AB form, also called as the verse chorus form, the ABC form, the 32 bar AABA form, and the 12 bar AAB form. We will take a specific look at the verse chorus form, which is very popular in the Western world. The verse chorus form typically has 4 sections: the intro, the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. The verse gets repeated with different set of lyrics. The chorus more or less contains the same set of lyrics, contains the core motive, which is often the name of the song. The chorus is sung multiple times to emphasize the motive or the theme. One point to note here is that the chorus section should not be confused with the word chorus, which we use in Indian film music. The chorus used in Indian film music refers to multiple voices at the same time, and this need not be the motive at all. The chorus used in the verse chorus format of Western music contains the core motive. Take a look at some of the examples in this format. Look at how the chorus section emerges later after the verse. There is a difference in the way Western music identifies a verse chorus song. In Western music, the song is identified with the chorus section, which actually comes after the verse. The chorus contains the core motive of the song. However, in Indian film music, though we have used the verse chorus format, we tend to identify the song with the beginning, which is the verse. You will identify it as you look through the examples below. Finally, let us take a look at how the form has been applied in Indian film music. Indian film music uses a mix of Indian form and the Western structure. While the outer structure is based on the Indian form of Pallavi Charanam or the Mukada Antara, the inner form is based on the Western format. That is, the Pallavi or Charanam is broken down into A, B, C or other similar formats. What you see here is an illustration of a typical Indian film song. There are variations to this format. We could have 3 Charanams, begin with the song with a Charanam, or have a rounded binary format. While the verse chorus format has been very popular in Western world, it has been sparingly used here. We are more used to the chorus verse format, where the motif is right at the beginning of the song. Try humming any of your favorite songs. This brings us to the close of this topic. Form is a very important aspect, and this pretty much drives composing and creativity. Please do listen to songs in other formats to get a better understanding. The understanding of our classical form is very important and gives us food for creativity. Thanks for watching this video, and as always, please do subscribe and send in your valuable comments.